Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Louise Minchin and Dan Walker.
Our headlines for you at 6 o'clock. All travellers entering the UK could face mandatory COVID tests after they arrive to stop the spread of new variants.
Over 70s in England who haven't been vaccinated are told to contact the NHS.
Donald Trump on trial again. The first ever impeachment of a former president begins today.
The bulk of childcare and less secured jobs. Good morning. Why women are suffering more from the economic impact of COVID. MPs say there's a gender gap in support. The government says it's doing whatever it takes.
The UK's first football hate crime police officer says prosecution is the only option now. The referee Mike Dean asks not to be involved in a Premier League match this weekend after death threats to his family.
I get to wear a high vis and be very bossy and go, oi! No, just to welcome people, as I'm about to do. Good morning, sir, welcome.
From Lord of the Manor to vaccine centre volunteer, Downton star Hugh Bonneville on his new role on the COVID frontline.
Good morning. At the moment, there is currently 60 centimetres of lying snow in Braemar. There are further snow showers in the forecast today. Not all of us seeing them. Still gusty winds with a significant wind chill, so feeling bitter. But I'll have all the details later in the programme.
To Tuesday the 9th of February, our main story for you. All travellers entering the UK will be tested for coronavirus after they arrive, under plans which are to be announced shortly.
They still have to provide a negative COVID test before they travel and either self-isolate or quarantine on arrival, depending where they've come from. Our reporter Charlotte Wright has more details on this and all the latest developments in the fight against the virus.
Just some of the millions who have now been vaccinated against COVID-19. But while these people were told to wait to be called up, now in England, those over 70 who haven't yet been given an appointment are being urged to contact the NHS themselves, online or by calling 119.
My advice to you is very simple. Do not delay. Have the vaccine that will protect you against the current threat. And don't worry, you can be revaccinated.
It follows concerns about the performance of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine after a small study found it gave minimal protection against mild disease from the South Africa variant. But scientists say that shouldn't deter people from getting a jab in the UK, where the dominant strain of the virus is different.
I don't think it's an immediate concern, and every bit of immunity to this virus that you can accumulate is a good thing, because it will, in all likelihood, reduce the severity of disease if you do catch this virus, even if it is from one of the overseas strains or a strain which has acquired some resistance.
But the virus is changing here too. Extra community testing, known as surge testing, will start in parts of South Manchester today, after a mutation of the Kent variant was discovered in 4 people in 2 separate households. Experts say it's to be expected.
In itself, we're not particularly worried. We think, based on good tests that are done in test tubes, that the vaccine will still work, perhaps just not quite as well as previously, but still good enough to protect people from severe disease. That means going into hospital and from dying.
Meanwhile, it's been announced that all passengers arriving in the UK will now be required to take a COVID test during their isolation. Measures the Department for Health says will provide a further level of protection for the country, and another sign that the pandemic's journey is far from over. Charlotte Wright, BBC News.
And as ever here on Breakfast, we will bring you more information and analysis of those issues throughout the programme, including questions to our medical editor, Fergus Walsh, who's answering your questions at 8:30. Send some more in if you'd like to.
Yeah, BBC Breakfast at bbc.co.uk is our email address this morning. Now, campaigners say care homes in England must be helped to reopen to visitors by March.
Age UK is among 6 organisations asking for the return of what they call meaningful indoor visits, as many residents have now spent almost a year in isolation.
The impeachment trial of Donald Trump starts in the US Senate today. He's charged with inciting a mob of his supporters to attack the Capitol building last month.
His lawyers have said Mr. Trump will not testify and that he did not spark the violence. Our Washington correspondent Barbara Platt-Usher reports.
For the first time in modern history, America's peaceful transfer of power was shaken.